Hey everyone, welcome back. We're about to get into the match with Team CC versus T1W Esports Club. I'm joined on the desk right now again by Vowels, but we've also got a new face here. Panda looking dapper, bringing a little class to the desk. I appreciate it. Although I don't know about the blue pop filter there.
Hey man, you can knock on the pop filter all you want, but let's just be happy that you can't hear everything that it blocks out.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, let's go ahead. Let's jump right into this thing here. Team CC versus T1W Esports Club. Panda, you described this as a match that hinges on the DPS. That's Crystal versus K-Heart and how Yakumo and Molan Ron support them.
Absolutely. I mean, K-Hart himself, being a part of the Overwatch World Cup team for China themselves, has to really show up today and show why he is a hit scan preferred specialist. Crystal is setting him up as well. This double sniper duo is fantastic and a true spectacle to watch. Yakumo and Molaran, on the other hand, supporting him by any means necessary by going forward and trying to find those proverbial picks in those 1v1s as well, and really creating the space there on out so that way the snipers can come through. I'm very interested to see how the tank line matches up in between them as well, because I'm sure you know that I do love space.
Yes, you do. Vowels on Team CNC, it's been really difficult to pinpoint and rank them. They've lost to the two worst teams in their group. They beat the two best in their group besides themselves. In your opinion, how good is Team CC when they're playing well?
When they're playing well, Team CC can beat anyone in this region. I have no doubt about that. But the key word to remember with Team CC is inconsistency. We've seen games where K-Heart looks like he could give Pine for a run for his money on the Widowmaker. He's been that good. But we've also seen games from K-Heart where he'd probably lose to the Plat Widows in all your comp games. That's what we've been seeing from this team. They have incredible highs and incredible lows. Yakumo as well has had performances where he's been an absolute world beater and then completely goes silent the next week. So if Team CC can play to their peak, I think they win out today, but it's just a matter of, can they play to their peak? They haven't played to their peak in previous weeks, and they've dropped games to teams they really should have beaten. So there's a lot of questions.
Panda, in your opinion, where do you think that their inconsistency really derives from? Because this is a team, this is the Shanghai Dragons academy team.
Absolutely right.
That's a big deal. Academy teams are a big deal. They're the only academy team in China. Where is this inconsistency coming from?
It's some pretty mighty shoes to fill. I mean, especially when you put it that way. They definitely, and again, have to show up. And for K-Heart specifically, has a lot of pressure on his back. And I think as a team, the way that Team CC plays is they're always waiting for that pick to come through. They really need K-Heart to go off in a certain manner so that way they can continue to win and take these maps. Jakirin, on the other hand, is the player for me to watch out for Team CC. Very strong on the Reinhardt, which has come slamming into the meta once again. Very strong on the German shield tank. And I believe going with Late Young, their flex off tank that makes an appearance on certain maps will be able to help them continue to push forward, holding down the W key, so that way no pressure will go towards K-Heart and Yakumo, both flex DPS as well. Fantastic at setting up K-Heart's Widowmaker.
So as we go ahead and get ready for map one, of course, I need to hear your predictions. Vowels, sounds like you've got to flip a coin and decide which Team CC we're going to get here today. But who do you think's walking away with the victory today?
I'm going to go with T1W. It's definitely a close match, and there is every potential that I'm going to be wrong here, which I know that you will take absolute delight in, as always.
Yes.
But I just don't have faith that we will see the Team CC that I know we could see. I feel like overall T1W is a much more consistent team, even if they don't always reach the same peaks. And I want to highlight Molan Ran in particular, the flex DPS for T1W Esports. If you thought you just saw great Farah plays from Jason in the last match, watch out for this guy. Absolutely insane Farah, can completely take over maps in a way that his opposition, Yakumo, simply can't. And I feel like that will be the deciding factor. So I'm going to go with 3-1 for T1W Esports Club.
Panda, what about you? Are you in agreement here?
For the sake of a desk, no, I'm not. T1W, yes, they are the one team that took the one map off of the juggernaut of Group A of Lucky Future Zenith, but I think this is going to be a play of the tanks who can keep their front line and the rest of their team alive like the foundation of a house almost. I think in the tank matchup, this will be Team CC pushing forward that much further into the back line of T1W. And if that's the case, Mulrun really needs to keep himself alive and to keep Crystal alive altogether for this team to pop off well. But I think in a 1v1 matchup, tank line versus DPS altogether, I think Team CC, they're going to come out strong. They're going to hit this ground running, and they're going to take this. It's going to be a game 5, but in a 3-2 fashion, Team CC will take it.
Another game 5. We
I'm
don't
ready.
need sleep, right? We just, go all the way through the night at this point.
Yeah, all the way through the night, all the way through the day. I mean, it's sunny over there for Val's, but, the sun's just coming up over here. What is sleep? What is the schedule?
I'm gonna pull back the curtain for you. I've come off a night shift to come into this cast. Please don't talk to me about sleep. You're gonna bring back bad memories. I can't remember what the feel of a bed looks like. I'm just running on fumes right now. But
you can't remember what the feel of a bed. It's a lot of like
night shifts do weird things around. But hey, we've got a pretty exciting matchup. I'm sure it's gonna give me all the adrenaline I need to keep going.
Val's doesn't have sheep that bounce over him when he's asleep. It's actually goats, and it's quite terrifying.
Wow, nice. All right, well, we are about ready to go into map 1. Before I do, if you guys want to take a moment, head on over to twitch.tv/broadcast.gg, hit that follow button, go to twitter.com/broadcast.gg, follow us there. The team at Broadcast.gg is bringing you the English broadcast. They've been working their butts off the past, year through grinding through scrim nights and open divisions, doing Contenders trials to now be bringing you Contenders on the official Contenders channel. Go ahead and support them. They put a lot of time, effort, and love into the scene, and I know that they would really appreciate your follow and your support. But that's enough about that. We're going to go into map number 1. We've got a couple new casters for you. Rapture and Kenobi, so defeated from his guess. What did he say? His educated guessing, his professional guessing. He's like, whatever, I'm just going to cast this next one. So go ahead, Rapture, Kenobi, take it away, guys. Take us into map 1.
Thanks, KT. Thanks, the desk. Welcome back, Overwatchers, to another set here in Overwatch Contenders China Season 2 2018 playoffs. I am Rapture here with Kenobi, and for this last matchup of today's English broadcast, we have Team CC going up against T1W Esports. Kenobi, are you ready to get into this one?
Definitely ready. Not going to be the professional guesser today. Going to be the try to be the professional co-caster today. So I'm definitely interested to see what these two teams are going to bring out. We thought the first one was going to be a stomp, and it ended up being close. But I think this one, the desk is divided. I'm pretty divided on who I think is going to win, and I think it's going to be a close set. And I think we probably will go game 5.
And of course, everyone knows the stakes here. So going to a game 5 might be what these two teams need to do. This is single elimination, a best of 5, just like the previous set. So you win, you move on to semifinals. In fact, the winner of this will be taking on Flag Gaming, who, as many of you just saw, defeated Moss 7 Club in a best of 5, 3-2, going to the final round on Ilios. So very exciting stuff. Hopefully we can continue that trend into this next set. And T1W Esports, they are, as the desk mentioned, the only team in the entirety of Contenders China this season to take a single map off of Lucky Future Zenith. In fact, Group A was pretty strong overall. So I'm interested to see how Team CC, despite placing better in their group, goes up against a team who might arguably have been in the better group.
Yeah, and we casted this T1W game when they played. They took that pivotal game off of LFZ there, and it was a lot. It was a lot of down to Crystal being able to just completely pop off of whereas on the Hans or the Widow. Yeah, that nutty Genji shot that we talk about, right? That's just the shot onto the Genji who was dragon blading. I mean, it's going to be, the desk mentioned it, it's going to be a lot predicated on this Widow battle. Widow, kind of in that first series we didn't see it as much, so maybe it's going to be something different that we're going to be seeing coming out from these two teams. We've sometimes seen like the triple DPS. Right, so it might be, we could just be thrown for a loop here, Rapture. We might not even know what's coming up. It could be, could be the wrecking ball. We might even see Symmetra. Anything can happen in this region.
That is a bold and brash guess there. I thought you were going to be an expert and professional caster, not guesser here. Symmetra. little ridiculous.
Hey, come on. We can see it. It could happen. It could happen. Like there's a minuscule, very, very small possibility.
But yeah, there is technically a chance because she's in the game that she can be picked. But
yeah, so you're
more
saying
realistically, yeah, more realistically, we have seen, like, for example, on Gibraltar, the Widow being super important. Some of these teams running, we even saw no support being run at a certain point on Gibraltar. So at this point, yeah, anything could be thrown out. We're going to Oasis for our first map, and this is something that Team CC might be looking forward to because currently T1W Esports, their win rate is the lowest on control map. So Team CC, by winning on Oasis, could get an edge early and snowball that into a quicker set win. Can T1W Esports kind of offset that low win rate on control and get an edge early on Team CC, or will the momentum go to Team CC early if they potentially take a convincing team map on Oasis?
Yeah, it's interesting because, we see T1W as this team that is predicated a lot on their DPS play, and Molanran specifically loves himself some Pharah. And this Oasis, if we're on like either University and some of the maps on Oasis, they're very good for Pharah play. So probably I would assume the pharmacy is going to be coming out from this team. They seem very comfortable unless they, the meta has changed such a drastic degree that they're just going to play something else. So I think that's definitely something to look out for when you're on the side of, Team CC. I really need to see the DPS from them step it up, because if K-Heart doesn't play to his potential, Crystal's just going to have himself a game.
Yeah, and the Dex mentioned it a lot too, how important it is for the tank line to do work. And sometimes a Pharah can be more than enough to distract an entire tank line in this region of Contenders. We're going to break out here on Oasis. It's our first map of set 2. Thank you all for tuning in. Team CC versus T1W Esports Club. We're going to take a look at Molanran on that Pharah, as you mentioned. And the Sky battle has already commenced here, trying to get rid of Yakumo, who's already had their sights both on the ground and on Molanran, so they have to ditch behind the Reinhardt shield of Silver 3. T1W having just a little bit of a ground advantage here as Molanran trying to get rid of Yakumo early. Gets very close, one shot, might be able to get another one, but the Mercy pockets him too soon. And Kenobi, both of these teams trading evenly, 5v5 situation until Zijin helps out, kills Molanran, and now they might be able to snowball it.
And it looks like, Molanran and Yakumo are trying to play this kind of dually Pharah comp, right? They're just trying to duel each other, try to take each other out of the game. But it looks like for the ground game, T1W didn't have the numbers they needed to win that point. And it looks like Yakumo and Team CC are going to come out on top this time. Really good play there from Yakumo, just to, make sure that he kept Molanran in check.
Yep, once Molanran went down, Team CC able to clean up everything else. You don't have those shots raining down from above. It makes killing the ground forces a lot easier, and Team CC coming out on top, not only with a bit of a capture there and bringing it back, but also with some good ult charge to boot.
Yeah, they have a lot of good ult charge for themselves. You mentioned like the Shatter, one of the best ultimates in the game. They're closing in on Rally as well. And it looks like Molanran here is just going to start playing a little bit more of the ground game Pharah, try and take the ground a little bit more, and let Yakumo just, hit out this barrage right now. Yeah,
Yakumo getting super low, no altitude there with the barrage, doesn't get anything. Waya finds Kaio, and now Silver 3 might want to look for an Earth Shatter here as they're swinging away. There's no shield there. The Winston is elsewhere and off cooldown, but he's still swinging, looking to get the capitalization on the res. Crystal steals the kill though. Now Silver 3 swinging still under the bridge. K-Heart throws out a pulse bomb, but gets cut down and doesn't find any value off the pulse bomb now. It does force the Mercy to go across the field, but they don't get cut down either. Jikaren forced to use Primal Rage and just barely stays alive, grinding on the edge there, and will get back into the fray. Meanwhile, Waya about to pop sound barriers at their 99%, just gets in now. A Graviton sucking everyone in, and Unhappy and Crystal are going to take advantage. Molanran will be able to clean up the just desserts if it's necessary, but it looks like T1W Esports is convincingly taking the fight, so Molanran should be able to save this for the next one, and indeed they do capture it and take everything else.
Yeah, Yakumo goes into the drink there, but it looks like K-Heart is going to be switching over to this Sombra. Sombra now has that infinite stealth that, I think was mentioned on the desk earlier today, is like you have a lot of free scouting ability with this continued stealth that you have, and the also ability to have EMP. And EMP, as we know, Rapture, one of those abilities that can completely change a team fight.
Yeah, the trade-off, though, possibly less consistent DPS. Will T1W be able to hold the advantage in DPS output here to continue to hold on to the point? We'll see. Next fight going down, Molanran still up above, has to deal with Yakumo once again, but they don't necessarily have the Mercy pocket. All of them, 93%, but immediately there's the Mercy right there. So Illusion still in position to keep Molanran juiced up here. K-Heart finds Silver 3, but an immediate trade there from Crystal onto Jikaren, so it's a 5v5 situation. K-Heart, 16 HP, barely gets out of there with a translocator, and now getting closer and closer to the EMP. Doesn't want to go down too early in the fight. or they might lose it here. Team CC has to get control of this before T1W slips away with it. EMP for K-Heart now available, gets the hack. Unhappy has to get out of dodge, gets behind cover, gets bubbled. EMP as everyone's clumped up inside that corridor, and Kenobi, this is now Team CC, they have to capitalize, but they're not finding the kills. Giacomo has to swoosh right in, gets 2, but only 1 up the barrage. Giacomo though finding 3, that is just enough to make the K-Heart EMP worthwhile, Kenobi, and it looks like they should be able to take it here. Team CC has the advantage. They are now capturing, and just in time too, as T1W is about to get 99%.
Extremely great patience there from K-Heart on that EMP. He waited until the Lucio sound barrier came out, and when you EMP that sound barrier, all of that shielding goes away. So great job from K-Heart there, understanding, about the ult tracking. They're gonna have this sound barrier. If I keep my EMP and then they use it, I can definitely negate all that damage. Great job from Team CC and K-Heart.
Now T1W realizing that this is pretty much their last moment to get up onto the fight, onto the point and take it convincingly. Silver 3 has the Earth Shatter, has been holding onto it. Oh, it whiffs dramatically. No one's home. And they're going to have to try and salvage that. Zijin has the Diva Bomb. Should be able to continue to sustain for T1 against T1W. Team CC has that and more. They also have Giacomo about to get the barrage, but they lose Kaio, so there's no good Discord. That would be easier for them to get kills. They don't have the Discord already more. Giacomo is going to have to do without. Doesn't get any kills. You can see how much of a difference it was to not have the Zenyatta.
Oh, he got killed.
W able to swing things back just in time as Unhappy and Y on the support line, finding both the Sombra and the Zenyatta at the tail end of the fight. T1W cleaning things up in an 100-99 situation already here, Kenobi. Just one phase of Oasis and things are getting really tight.
Yeah, this is going to be a close game, I think, Rapture. And Unhappy there at the end doing a great job of understanding that the Sombra was their only win condition, the EMP. That's all I need to get done is if I get the EMP out, then I'm going to be able to do a good job of winning this fight. And Unhappy, dealing with that flanker, making sure the Sombra isn't really that much of an issue, even though it did have a couple of EMPs. Having just Unhappy be there as kind of a stalwart, right? Just to get rid of the pressure a little bit. Great job from them. And I really like that pick and play coming out from Unhappy.
Yeah, and Unhappy did draw away a lot of attention from the DPS, like Giacomo on that Bree, sometimes even being the sole target of a barrage at times. Moa and Ron now going on their own Sombra, so no Pharah for them. Makes sense on Library, but Giacomo, despite the Oasis stage selection change here, is still on the Pharah. And in fact, K-Heart's now on the McCree, so quite a combination here. Milan Ron's going to get all this backline scouting here, knows exactly what they're running, exactly where they are, and is able to hack that Zarya and put some great damage down on Kaio, even though Waya steals the kill. So already T1W getting a bunch of leverage off of just that one Sombra death, getting a bunch of kills as well. And that's going to translate Kenobi into an easy capture on points a year.
Yeah, and if you're T1W, you take that trade any day. 2 kills for just your Sombra's life, getting KYO out of the fight early. Great job there from Molan Ren with the patience, waiting for the perfect opportunity to one-clip that Zenyatta, get him out of the fight. And they take the point pretty convincingly here, but some ultimate charge available for Team CC. They do have that barrage, which Yakumo has shown so far can be pretty good with it.
Yeah, but that's all they have. So once Giacomo burns this, they still have a ways to go on other ultimates, thankfully for them. Zijin and K-Heart are able to clean things up. 5v4 situation. Can Team CC scramble back onto the fight? They are finding some kills to try and even the odds here. And Unhappy did go low. Woe was able to throw down some residual damage. But when they get aggressive, Jikuron just punishes them for it. And now Molanron in the backline, but by themselves, can't do enough damage, really takes these down. Has to get rid of the Mercy and does so. That's the biggest contribution they could have gone. No more reses. So once these tanks go down, that's it for Team CC. So when Zijin down, that's no way for T1W to really get back into this. And in fact, they are going to retreat back to spawn. Team CC still having to get back into this Kenobi. T1W in control.
I talked about earlier Molan Ren's Pharah play, but this Sombra play coming out from him has been absolutely stellar. He's getting into the backline, using his stealth well to scout, but now he's going to get hit by the Brigitte. He is going to survive, but I really like what Molan Ren has been doing on this Sombra, playing kind of, that scouty, pest type Sombra, making sure he understands when he can cool down, when he can translocate. Great job from him, and now he has EMP for this next fight.
Yeah, this is such a hard hole for Team CC to dig themselves out of here. Molanron, great hack onto the Pharah. They're going to fall right back down, though they just barely get to the high ground, so they're not going to get caught by the EMPs. Zenyatta immediately going down from Unhappy. Silver 3 has an Earth Shatter, but they're going to save it. No need to go on to overkill here. The kills are already coming by way of the EMP. Wyatt and Illusion getting in on the fray, and Kenobi, T1W just looking super dominating right now as things are cleaned up.
T1W really seems to understand this new meta line, understand how to play around this new Sombra. Also going to bring out the Ana here and Lucio, and they just understand really just how this composition works. Let Molan Ren be that pest in the backline and just have him do all of the work. As the grab's going to come out right now, let's see what it can do, Rapture.
Yeah, and Sentry was able to touch it, and that's just enough for Yakumo to get the kill off the Graviton. That actually working out for Team CC. I don't even think T1W knew that Lucio was flanking behind them. They were too worried about the Graviton. They still didn't have a countermeasure to it, and Yakumo cleans up. So there we go, Team CC finally on the board.
Yeah, good win there from TCC with that fight, but they did use a lot of their ult to get that. Now Sentry's going to be switching over to that Mercy, you know, offer a little bit more sustained healing and that resurrection ability. Mercy, as we've seen, hasn't been played too much in this current meta, but let's see how it works with this, you know, pharmacy that we're going to be seeing.
And K-Heart is about to have the rally. But after that, Team CC low on ultimates here. It's T1W that can just offload everything they have, and Team CC has to survive the storm. Silver 3 charging right in, finds K-Heart. The Reinhardt picking up a kill. Crystal also there too. And the Mercy's still alive for Century, but they don't have enough DPS to actually get T1W off the point. And there's another EMP from Molenra on Team CC, scrambling to find cover, but it's not there. And T1W taking this first map here 2-0 on Oasis and going up 1-0 in the set over Team CC.
It looks pretty, you know, pretty convincing between both these teams. It looks pretty close, I'd rather say. They both seemed like they both understand how this meta is going to be working. They both seem very close in their just DPS play across the board. But as we mentioned on the desk, K-Heart has kind of been a little bit quiet so far. He was trying to play that McCree a little bit, not working as well as we would have hoped. And we mentioned, you know, I've said it before, the floor for Crystal is pretty low. When he has bad days, he has really bad days. There wasn't able to do as much as he possibly could have. And then we had Molenra, you know, playing very well on the DPS role. So they're definitely going to have to start, you know, making sure K-Heart give him some more resources, give him some more space, as one of my people on the analyst desk likes to say. Give them the space so that he can pop up, because he is your win condition.
Right. Well, we'll see. Over the break, can Team CC get themselves back into it after T1W kind of knocking them over the head? Don't go anywhere. On the other side of this break, more Overwatch Contenders China playoffs coming your way. Welcome back, Overwatchers, to our second map of the second set here today on the English broadcast of Overwatch Contenders China Season 2 2018 playoffs. I'm Rapture, still here with Kenobi, going into our second map of Eichenwald after T1W took the first map, Oasis, 2-0 over Team CC. Kenobi, what does Team CC got to do to get back into the set?
I think Team CC needs to, I talked about it before, enable K-Heart just a little bit more. He was kind of quiet throughout that first part, and as we mentioned on the desk, you know, it's going to be K-Heart versus Crystal. Crystal has had a few higher moments so far during this map, or during this matchup so far, and, you know, for Team CC on Hybrid, that's not one of their best maps. They don't have that great of a win record on it, so they really need to pull out all the stops for this. And going down 2-0, especially in a best-of-3 series, probably your least ideal situation.
Yeah, first of 3 series, so this is still a situation where Team CC can come back, but they might have missed the opportunity. Right now, T1W has the higher win rate on Hybrid, and Team CC had the higher win rate on Control, but they dropped it to T1W. So now this might be where T1W starts to run away with the set. We'll find out, Kenobi, as we move into the first attempt here on Eichenwald, and it will be Team CC on offense first here, now in the right, now in the green, and they're breaking out with the dive comp. And with Pharah.
Yeah, they're going to play some dive with the Pharah, a dive-esque composition that we're going to be seeing here. Yakumo going to be able to free farm up top a little bit, but he's going to have to be able to deal with Molenra. And then on the other side for T1W, you have this very beefy tank line of Rye and Roadhog. And if you can get that pick from the Roadhog into your back line, into the Reinhammer, it's just not going to be a good time for any of those switchies. So K-Heart going to have a little bit of a rough time.
Yeah, and T1W has so much crowd control too. The 2 ultimates here for Reinhardt and Zarya, as well as the hook from Roadhog, might be enough to shut down the mobility of Team CC. And T1W does get on the board first with the DMAP, but Yakumo gets the first kill. Unhappy will trade it off with a 5v5, but Yakumo having a little bit of a flashback to the previous round of Oasis, having to deal with Molenra all up in their grill with the Mercy pocketed, continually throwing shots around the tower. And Kenobi, things have still just shut down for the time being.
Yeah, and you see kind of by the alt chart here what these Pharahs are, you know, what they prioritize here. It seems like Molenra is prioritizing a bit more Pharah battle, while Yakumo trying to get the ground game going, so, and get the ground, you know, whittle down those tanks a little bit. So Molenra doing a good job, as G-Kern's going to get a pick onto Silver 3 right here.
And Silver 3, yeah, didn't have the healing he needed there to stay alive, so no Rhine Shield means that T1W can kind of just walk, or Team CC can kind of walk in just a little bit until this Reinhardt gets back in, and they are already finding the kills. Molenra goes down. Yakumo has the barrage, looking for the Zarya. Doesn't commit to the barrage, still waiting on the point, trying to hold on to that patient barrage until it's very necessary. Kaio, meanwhile, in the corner, throwing down some shots, gets the attention of G-Karen. They're going to continue to push up. And Team CC, half the point of point A. T1W Esports, nowhere to be found. They've been cut down and slaughtered. and that'll be Team CC taking this first capture, and now 4 minutes and 37 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, losing Silver 3 at the start of that was really detrimental. Tank, has all the shielding, is able to, stall some of the damage coming out from Yakuma there on that Pharah, but dies almost at the start. And then Sentry pulling out the Battle Mercy, right? Rapture just taking, okay, you know what? I'm going to deal with Molanran myself. Gets the headshot on it, uses that Battle Mercy Valkyrie very well. So great job from TCC there, getting that first point, and now they're going to be rolling into point B.
Look at Silver 3 playing so aggressively here, trying to get some ult charge, while Yakumo finds Molanran. And when Jikuan forced to pop Primal Rage and just continue to push this advantage from T1W they have at the choke point, it pays off. All these ultimates burned, but they're finding the kills, and Kenobi, T1W getting shut down very swiftly here by Team CC, and that payload will move on forward.
Yeah, and it looks like Kikumo is starting to win this Pharah battle, and it looks like K-Hard has also been switching over to the Widow. Widow, one of his comfort picks, as we know, throughout this season, and it seems like he's doing a lot better job, going to be able to deal with the other Pharah that's not going to be there now because Molanran has switched over to the Sombra. I like the Sombra pick. It's going to be able to get a lot of scouting, and you're going to be able to make K-Hard uncomfortable and get those hacks that we know. When you're hacked, it's not a good time, Rapture.
Yeah, Zijin also getting a bit uncomfortable there, gets D-Mech, has to sit in place, and then throws down from downtown the D.Va ultimate, but the self-destruct finds nothing except Molanran, who's going to continue to harass the D.Va, not letting them get away without a lot of damage done. Look at how much ult charge Molanran's building, almost on their way to another EMP farm solely off of this D.Va. And Team CC can try to win the fight on the payload. Meanwhile, Yakumo gets a kill onto Unhappy, gets the attention of the Zarya, Crystal forcing him back. K-Hart, meanwhile, unadulterated shots from downtown. Crystal gets cut down from the by the Zarya, or by the Widowmaker. They're the Zarya. And now each team trading, but neither of the Mercies are going down, so it's elongating the fight here, Kenobi. Both Mercies getting reses, and then Century actually putting down their counterpart with the Battle Mercy. Molanran trying to salvage the fight with an EMP. Unhappy and Molanran find kills, and T1W Esports Club off the EMP, trying to shut down Team CC right before the second checkpoint. Looks like they'll be able to do it, but Jikuren not only gets the kill on Molanran, but helps out Crystal as they fall off the point. They believe they got a right click to cut them down. And T1W actually, even off the EMP, could not stop Team CC from finding that second checkpoint. It's just going to be this one last character illusion on the point. They're still staggering on here, Kenobi. It looked like it was all done. Team CC, they had it, but where's it going? T1W are actually stealing it back. The checkpoint was not met. The payload came to a halt right immediately, and it was enough for Team CC to actually not be able to complete it, Kenobi. I can't believe they didn't make it.
Yeah, that was really close, but Molanran got back to the point just in time and was able to pump out a lot of damage, get those tanks down, and really good job from him. And now T1W has a good amount of ultimates for this next push, as well as the fact that they have this Sombra able to scout in the back line and maybe just take a kill onto KYO right here. He's really low. Oh, K-Hart with the huge shot onto Molanran, gets him out of the fight. It's a 5v6 Rapture.
Yeah, but T1W already accustomed to dealing with fights on the point without the Sombra, and so far they are holding on stalwartly, but there's nobody on K-Hart. He's getting all these sightlines for free, and then it sets up Yakumo for a barrage from up top. It gets rid of D.Va, and now without that tank, the Far can get even closer to the payload, but the Zarya from Crystal keeping him at bay just for a little while longer. It's not enough to keep the checkpoint from being contested and finally completed. Team CC finding the doorway, and now they're going to break it down.
It looks like Crystal is going to have this Graviton, probably going to save it for this next fight, but they have both of their tank ultimates as well as the EMP as their saving grace here. But it looks like Team CC is going in pretty deep for this next push, and someone's going to have to deal with K-Hart because K-Hart is pretty much unmitigated in the backline, not doing, like, no one's getting onto him. He's just getting so much value off of that Widow with the sightlines, as you mentioned. It looks like Molanran's going to try to be the one to get him off.
Yeah, that's the thing. Molanran was on EMP feeding, building duty, but now can harass the Widowmaker just a little bit. Waiting and waiting for Team CC. Springs the trap. There's the EMP, but has the cheese been gotten, or have they gotten the mice? Unhappy will get Yakumo with a mini Mercil barrage. Kyayo also goes down, but Sentry gets the resin to Yakumo. T1W scrambling for some more kills. Silver 3 has the Earth Shatter, but it looks like they're not going to need it, as Unhappy is playing it super aggressively there. In fact, all these tanks are just juiced up for Team CC. They have ultimates. Silver 3, though, will get the kill, and in fact, their tanks are also sitting on a smorgasbord of ultimates, and they will hold Team CC off. But remember, 1 minute and 40 seconds remaining here, Kenobi. T1W still has a lot more work to do.
Yeah, and even though they have all these ultimates, I'd like to see maybe K-Hart switch over to something better. As Molanran almost goes down. I would like to see K-Hart go to something a little bit, better for this confined spaces. You don't really have the sightlines here as well. And Yakumo, after this barrage, not going to have that infinite skybox to fly around to as well. But it looks like the barrage is going to come in right now.
Oh, but Unhappy with the counter hit gets 1.5 there, gets rid of Zijin's mech and puts down Yakumo with the self-destruct. Crystal and Molanron just capitalize and follow up with the kills. Even Silver 3 gonna get on the board. And that's it, just like that, Team CC moving in and gets shut down without being able to build too much ult charge. But look, Kenobi, when they get back into it, they're gonna have at least 3 going into this next fight.
Yeah, and that's why I would have liked to have maybe seen them forego the barrage. Barrage is a really good ability, but if it's in such a confined area, you're going to be susceptible to a lot of damage coming at you from the ground. So you really just didn't get any value off of that. And now you're going to be switching over to that Junkrat. And the Junkrat in this point could do a lot of damage.
Oh, Team CC throwing down a self-destruct in the back line, but Molanron is waiting there again with another EMP, even getting some hacks, has to get out of dodge, taking a little bit of self-sustain and crowd control there, so has to fall back. And both teams now trading on the payload. Silver 3, shield is low, not even close to Earth Shatter here. Molanron throws down the EMP, and once again, T1W is going to take advantage, finding K-Heart doesn't even have a roll, can't even get out of there. Silver 3 steals some kills, and just like that, again, Team CC has no answer to the EMP. They don't have a Sombra of their own, so they can't give T1W a taste of their own medicine.
Yeah, and at some point, maybe if you're Team CC, you got to be thinking about running that Sombra of your own, right? What counters Tracer? Tracer. What counters Sombra? Another Sombra as Molanron's going to go into the back line, get a huge pick on the Jeeker and Rapture. They're not even going to have a chance to get back onto the point. A great point C defense coming out from T1W Esports.
Yeah, Team CC looking somewhat weak on that offensive push. T1W, once they found that the Sombra gave them an enormous amount of leverage, they just kept putting it under the door and just jamming that. I mean, at that point, Team CC needed some way to deal with the Sombra, and they didn't really have any pick for it. K-Heart was their way to get into the streets phase, right? But when Molanron went onto that Sombra, K-Heart could be, it was not only less effective, but the rest of the team was less effective as well. Molanron can shut down multiple characters at a time with the Sombra, which means they got to dedicate even more resources to Team CC to just one player, Molanron. So, I mean, that's just so many resources to take care of just a small portion of the team. You can see why this strategy is so effective for T1W.
Talk about value rapture. You're getting so much value out of this one pick that is the Sombra. You just, as you mentioned, all the resources are being pulled into trying to get Molanron off of this. And they had K-Heart, on the Widow there. I would have liked to have seen maybe him switch earlier. I mentioned this during the cast, is because Widow on that point C doesn't have, the greatest sight lines, as well as Yakumo staying maybe a bit too much on that Pharaoh. Would have liked to have seen some quicker switches, because that's Overwatch, right? You switch to counter what your enemy has and what point of the map you're on. So really would have liked to see some faster switches coming out from TC, but it's not the end of the world. They can definitely hold here. K-Heart, as we mentioned on Widow, very good Widow, Chinese, World Cup team, so they can definitely hold this defense pretty well here.
And also it's Overwatch. Sometimes if you can't beat them, join them. If the other team's running a composition that's working, you can just run that composition as well.
Mirror
right?
comps, baby, let's go.
Exactly, yeah, you see your reflection in that. Yeah. And that often is working. I feel like that might have been what Team CC needed. They're running a Sombra. Okay, we're going to run a Sombra. Neither team running it. Both teams, teasing the hamster a little bit.
Come on,
go back into his
do that
cage.
to us.
Yeah, not going to see it this time. Both of these teams know it's at stake. They're not going to risk it on something new to this meta, going with something a little more comfortable. T1W Esports, now look what they're running. Crystal on the Hanzo with Molanron on the Pharah. So 2 theaters of war here. Crystal going to be occupying that ground game and all the walls, and Pharah with that Molanron on the Pharah, going to be contesting on the high ground and in the air. So there's a lot for Team CC to deal with here, and KR and Yakumo have to keep up, otherwise they're going to be snowballed. It's so easy for Crystal to get a bunch of kills in a small amount of time, so they're going to have to keep up with that damage output. Unhappy, though, is the first one on the board here, Kenobi, and they're going to get a big one. Sentry goes down, so there's no red, so Yakumo can't get back in here, so it's all up to K-Heart to get all this damage, and it's just not being found. T1W is smothering Team CC. It's 4 quick kills, and just like that, the point is taken without a single bat of the eye. Kenobi, T1W setting themselves up for potentially a quick map 2 win here.
Yeah, Sentry there got chunked down by either a Hanzo arrow or the Molanron with his Pharah by him. Been great follow-up there from Unhappy to get the final blow. And once you lose that Mercy Rapture, you're losing a lot of healing. As you mentioned, you lose the res as well. So great job from them, understanding, oh, we got the Mercy pick. We can go in now. We can get this point, and we can just start to snowball now. 5 minutes and 13 seconds available for them for this next push.
Yeah, it just allows you to be so much more aggressive when like you said, that res is not going to be there, but also Crystal knows they don't have to worry about the Mercy. They can look for other squishies to throw those arrows down, but
Crystal
sees the Mercy. Sentry can't get to cover in time. Now has a Dragon Strike ready. So the second Team CC decides to get aggro as a group, they can just throw that down, but it's Mullenron and Crystal finding some more kills. T1W Esports with a half team advantage now, and Team CC has to coalesce together towards the second checkpoint because T1W Esports, with so much real estate here, they're really holding on strong, Kenobi.
Yeah, I mean, Hanzo got nerfed a little bit. Crystal doesn't care. Your arrow didn't get nerfed, right? It's just the Stormbow, and he hits 2 huge raw shots there. As the Dragon Strike is going to come out into a confined area, not going to find the picks, but it's going to zone out the rest of Team CC.
Yep, it's going to delay Team CC for just a moment longer. And at this point, it's all about time. T1W can play the war of attrition here. They have more time. They have less to cover. And Crystal shutting down Yakumo. Here comes the D.Va self-destruct. Everyone has to get into cover, and everyone does. Unhappy's the one who finds the kill on Zgen. It's not going to be the D.Va of the other side. Crystal and Silver 3 finding kills to pick up the slack, as Unhappy wasn't able to find anything. And look at this, T1W Esports is casually walking through the front door. I wonder if they're going to take their shoes off.
Yeah, hopefully they take their shoes off. It's been a while since that place has had anyone in it.
Right, it's a dirty castle.
They don't want to clean it any more than they already have to, right? So probably got to take the shoes off. But they're taking off the heads right now of K-Heart there, K-Heart there, Crystal. So great job from them. And it looks like it's just the box of victory right here. And
Somebody
they have
touch.
EMP.
Okay.
Oh, all right. They're just not going to touch. Well, easy. That's just
T1W just in the way of Team CC. As much as Team CC probably would have liked to have been there, all the tanks were up for T1W. There was no way to get through. They were absolutely body blocked. And at that point, they didn't have any leverage to get on, no resources to burn. And Kenobi, that was definitely a convincing second map as well. 2 maps under the belt for T1W Esports. Team CC at a big deficit, and everything is on the line for them. If they drop one more map, they are out of Chinese Contenders playoffs. We're going to have the desk break it down for you because there's a lot to talk about. So I'm going to throw it over to them. KT and the rest, take it away.
Thanks so much, guys. Wow, a little bit quicker than that first match, that first half was. But man, it really, we were, flip the coin here. It looks like we're seeing bottom half Team CC so far, Vowels.
Yeah. I would first like to request a public apology from Panda for sleeping on my boy Silver. He's had an absolutely monster game on the main tank position for T1W, and it's really enabled them to really punish some of the mistakes team from CCC. So yeah, I think you're right. This is the Team CC we saw losing matches to teams they really shouldn't lose a match to, although this is T1W, a team they quite easily lose a match to. So a lot of questions to be answered for Team CC here.
Seriously, someone come get your man's a Silver, man. He's going crazy on that front line. Jesus.
The one thing that I've definitely noticed from T1W too is it's been really decisive for them, Panda, across honestly both of these maps so far. What's making them so decisive right now against a Team CC that's basically on their heels the whole time?
Not turning around. Forgetting that Sombra has this infinite stealth capability in this current patch as well. Mullerun is making a mockery of this backline. It's as simple as just taking a Reinhardt and just literally flicking your shield back around, and you can actually cancel that hack as she's putting it on you. But Mullerun is actually taking a keen focus onto a Pharah in the sky, Zarya, and Reinhardt, flipping in between all 3 of those hacks and free farming them. Me and Vals were sitting here bouncing off back and forth just talking about ult charge. It feels like every single 30 seconds or so, we're seeing an EMP get fully charged, and that you just can't let happen. This is obviously a game surrounded by cooldowns, and that's definitely something that you need if you want to not only create a whole bunch of space, but make a footing on these attacks as well. That is not where you want the payload to be stopped on Eichenwald. You want it to get as close, if not capture all 3 points, but they really need to stop this Sombra. They need to pick up a Brigitte. They need to pick up a Roadhog along with a McCree. Hell, you can even go in a full dive and just make the Sombra irrelevant to a certain point and just try to outdive the enemy team. But I don't think Team CC is ready for that. They are getting heavily desynced at the moment, all by a simple Sombra.
Simple Sombra. Well, there's also been another player that's been a little bit of a hassle, and that's Crystal. We kind of expected to see Crystal a lot more on the DPS side of things, but he's been kind of playing around. I'm sorry, we've seen him do that in the past as well, but I think he's been playing a little bit more than we're used to seeing. Vowels, what's made Crystal so effective in this first half on that Zarya and Hanzo?
Well, Zarya is technically an off tank, but if you can consistently play at high charge like Crystal is being able to play, you're basically a DPS. You can melt through the opposition so quickly. You've got so much raw damage output. You're effectively just another DPS. And that's what we're seeing here from Crystal. Team CC is relying too much on the Father and the Junkrat picks. And it's just feeding over so much easy charge to Crystal that he's able to convert that into energy and melt through Team CC's tanks.
Fair enough. So before we go ahead into the third, or I guess the break we're going to be jumping into in a second, Team CC definitely looking flat here, Panda. What do they need to change in the second half if they want a chance at bringing this to a game 5 and not being kicked out of contenders here?
Yeah, all life is laying on the lines for Assault here, KT, and this is something that really needs to come through and strong. I think Team CC, I know for a fact Team CC needs to make it to the Escort map. It is their best variant that they are playing through. Assault for T1W, they are sitting strong. Both these teams right and roughly around 3-1 with that one draw for Team CC. So this is going to be difficult, but I think that they need to play to the meta strength, much like T1W is. They need to show up as a DPS duo and stick with their tanks and stick together as a team and deal kind of like in the sense of previous patches where it used to be a tracer in your backline. You need to take it from your backline to theirs. You need to be very cautious in understanding that there's no way we can hold down the W key until our supports are safe and free, along with these tanks as well. I mean, those hacks are just coming through way too cleanly. And then we saw Crystal pop over to the Hanzo as well. Their Team CEC is just, they're getting their stuff handed to them, man. I mean, T1W, they're making a mockery of this academy team. I'll go ahead and say it right here and there that Team CC, they're just not showing up. And to Val's point, this is the lower tier Team CC that we're seeing today. I want to see this front line hold together like glue and keep their team together strong.
All right, well, there you have it. We're going to take a brief break here, get everything set up for the third map. Will Team CC come back, pull off the reverse sweep, or will T1W get out of here in 3, or are we going to go to 4? I don't know. There's a lot that can be happening here, and we'll get right back into it right after this break.
Welcome back, Overwatchers, to our third map of set 2 of today's Overwatch China Contenders Playoffs Quarterfinals English broadcast, brought to you by Broadcast.gg. I am Rapture here with Kenobi, and we're moving on to our third map of Volskaya.
Yeah, we're gonna get it's the summer, but it's cold there in Russia, and we're gonna see some, a little bit of snow, a little bit of cold, and hopefully, Team CC starts to warm up a little bit because they have been cold this entire series so far. So they're definitely looking to, take their first map victory on this point. And I think both of these team scores are pretty even on this map. These statistics for their wins, I think they're both pretty even. So this is definitely the moment for Team CC to kind of like start bringing it. Because again, we mentioned it's first to 3. They're behind 2-0, and they really need to bring it this next map.
I mean, they do. This is literally their tournament life on the line. They cannot lose another map. Otherwise, it's over. So this is it. It's a best of 5 single elimination situation. Whoever wins this moves on to face Flag Gaming, who just defeated Moss 7 Club in the previous set. And moving into this one on Volskaya, one more map could decide these two teams' fates. Remember, Team CC is the Shanghai Dragons Contenders Academy team, and T1W is the only team so far in Chinese Contenders Season 2 to take a single map off of LFZ. So these two teams have done a lot of work to get here so far, but now it all comes down potentially to Volskaya, and it's going to be Team CC again on the offense. It's again K-Heart on this Widowmaker moving up here, Kenobi.
Yeah, and we again see Molanran, in that backline with the Sombra, scouting it out, playing the scout Sombra, as Crystal's going to stay here and just, play a little bit. It looks like Team CC just waiting to engage right now. It looks like they're not comfortable engaging. They want to know where Molanran is at all times. So just playing a little bit more patiently. I like that they're playing patiently and not just banging their head against the wall that is T1W.
Yeah, this is right now Team CC's opportunity to try and get a really quick jump on by moving their tanks up onto that middle area and trying to get themselves some room for K-Heart to put some shots down. And indeed, they're finding, Crystal almost gets her head taken off, but K-Heart cannot finish the job. Molanran on this Sombra on the right side, hoarding the Mega Health Pack. That's exactly what they need to do. Just hold on to that so they have continual healing for the rest of the team, and supports cannot provide it. K-Heart again with this long sight line on the mid area, unmitigated, while the far are also doing damage. Yakumo putting some shots down, but not too close to a barrage. And there's an EMP. Kenobi, Molan Run gets the EMP, and now T1W Esports can convert off of that. Look at that, 4 kills, 3.5 kills in a row. Team CC getting absolutely bodied off that EMP.
Yeah, K-Heart is not playing the best Widow of his life right here. He's having a very tough time. He's missing shots that he probably should be hitting. And if he's clicking those heads, these are team fights that are won. So K-Heart really streaky right now. Maybe he needs to swap off or just, get a couple of picks to, make sure that he gets rolling. Because right now, he's having a very tough time of getting any picks. And if you're not getting those picks, T1W Esports is just completely fine with going in, rushing at your team.
And that's the thing. Team CC, they have Yakumo and Widowmaker, or on K-Heart on the far on Widowmaker. It may not be enough damage to eat through the chunky health pool of T1W Esports. Jukuen does find Unhappy. That's a great start. No breathe. They're going to go right in, but it's salvaged by T1W, throwing down the Graviton. A barrage also comes down from Yakumo. Only gets one on the Crystal, onto Crystal. K-Heart gets Silver 3. And off of that, just 1 kill of Jikuren, they're able to snowball to some more kills. And K-Heart had so much room to work with, gets 2 picks off the support line of T1W Esports Club, and they're shut down for good. Point A will be taken by Team CC.
Yeah, that's the KR we know and love. Getting a couple of picks there, probably warming up a little bit in this icy weather that is Volskaya. And it looks like they did use a lot of ultimates for that push, Team CC. They used pretty much everything except for the Coalescence. And if you look at the side of T1W, as K-Heart gets another kill, T1W has 3 ultimates to their name and have that EMP. And as we've seen so far from Molander, and those EMPs are usually golden.
And there's another one shining bright there, but how much is that gold worth? Crystal putting some shots down, putting away those tanks into that back corner. Silver 3's gonna follow up, gets the shot and charge onto D.Va Mech, but it's not gonna force them out of the mech, so they'll be able to get out and fight another day. Zijin also has the self-destruct, so they could have continued the fight, and Kenobi, once again, T1W just gonna slow things down for the time being.
Yeah, they're gonna slow it down, take a little bit of a breather here. No Roadhog though. It's just like Team CC has been playing this, slower paced composition. They're waiting patiently for their dive tanks to go in, and while they're trying to let K-Heart and Yakumo, do their thing in the backline, put out as much damage as possible and farm into those ultimate abilities. And now Molander is going to be detected by the stealth, so they're going to have a little bit of time where they're going to know where Molander is at all times.
And Molander probably wishes they didn't get that trends locator missed throw on stream, but unfortunately, Kobe. Crystal has just a little bit of charge there, working towards another Graviton. Meanwhile, K-Heart again holding a sight line, uncontested, but not finding the kills they need, especially through the coalescence of this Moira. Crystal puts down Z-Gen as they get D-Mech by Molanron. Silver 3 finding Jukuren, getting a little bit of revenge from earlier. And T1W, with just a few picks here, shut down Team CC and slow things down, but K-Heart is able to steal away a kill.
K-Heart gets a kill here. Not sure if it'll matter too much as the fight just, not percolating just a little bit, not going to go in just yet. But it looks like T1W still playing, pretty comfortable with their composition right now, and so is Team CC as well. But Team CC's comp isn't just getting the damage or the kills that it needs so far. And T1W Esports, look at it again. They have so many ultimates to their name, about to have another EMP.
And the second that Team CC moves up, Crystal can throw down this Graviton. There's the EMP too. There's nothing stopping them from getting away from that Graviton, but the kills come through without it. Waya gets the kill onto Yakumo. Molaron finds Jikuren. Crystal shutting off the rest of the team from their Moira and might be able to get the kill as well. Only the Mercy's able to subside with them. The D.Va will get back in and rejoin, but Team CC has to relinquish back to spawn. They're even going to get staggered by T1W. T1W is just an absolute tyrant on Volskaya right now.
Yeah, I mean, what's the easiest way to kill a Pharaoh? Just, hack them and get them on the ground so they're right in front. You don't have to shoot him up in the air. Great EMP there from Molander. Already 80% to another one, Rapture. It's like he has this as a cooldown ability. He's just doing so much damage and so much pressure onto the enemy team. Gonna have it for this next fight, along with 4 other ultimates for T1W Esports Club. They're looking very, very good right now.
And that is almost an understatement. Look at this. Molanron has another EMP. Just from these tanks from Team CC are literally feeding Molanron all the EMP charge they need. The second another fight breaks out, the EMP is ready once again. Team CC just has no solution yet, Kenobi. And now another fight breaking out. Molanron just has to wait around, almost gets shut down, but is able to get back towards the Mega Health Pack. Just under 20 HP before they're able to get back. The Translocator coming in clutch. Now again, shutting off these tanks from the point, but their tanks of T1W Esports kill Team CC's players before they even get to the point, Kenobi.
Yeah, and I'm harping on this ultimate economy, but T1W is being so patient with their ultimates. They're just winning the vanilla game right now, doing such a good job of being patient with their ultimates. Crystal has been holding on to this grab for a while. Molanren, again, gonna have that EMP, and Team CC has been using their ults, and it looks like they're actually gonna match now with K-Heart on that Sombra, matching Molanren. I like this. It's something we haven't seen from TCC enough of. Match that Sombra with your own Sombra, fight fire with fire, mano-y-mano, Rapture.
Oh, and there it is. Molanren gets shut down there as K-Heart has moved over to the Sombra. So there it is, fighting fire with fire. Will they be able to keep up with the Molanren's EMP output, though? And they're sitting on that EMP, waiting to get in position, but Jikran shuts them down. The Coalescence helping him out, but Jikran takes the kill. Crystal with the Graviton, trying to keep things up, salvaging the rest of this fight. T1W does have the close spawn, so they get back into this fight quicker than Team CC. So Team CC needs to get these kills faster. And there's Yakumo getting the job done, gets 1.5. Only 1 kill, but at least gets rid of the D.Va. That's a high-value kill. But Yakumo gets
EMP.
As well as the rest of the team. All they needed is T1W to get back into the fight. The EMP once again shutting things down, and K-Heart is nowhere close to their own EMP. So Team CC again is going to have to retreat here or die trying, and T1W cleans them up again.
And Molanren, the real master of the EMP here, there. K-Heart only 60% to his EMP, but as we saw in that last fight, it looked pretty good at the start. They were managed to get Molanren out of the fight early, but it still just didn't matter. The rest of the team for T1W Esports is very good on their own as well. Using that grab to stall out the Primal Rage, very good job there.
Now T1W, this is looking very free for them. They have brought all their coupons to the counter here. And things are costing nothing for them now. And look how many ults they have still. They're winning every single fight. They have so many ultimates. Molanren's about to get another. Might even catch up to K-Heart to get another EMP before K-Heart's even gotten their first one. Team CC has to deal with the Earth Shatter as well from Silver 3. And K-Heart using the translocator to get back into the backline with the EMP. Kills Silver 3. And now Team CC has to capitalize. They have 12 seconds left. Gets another kill. That's 2. 6-4 situation here for Team CC. More shots being thrown out. Graviton. Yakumo punch shots from downtown, from the side. Kaio with the Coalescence kill. And Team CC just in time, finally getting some percentage on point B. Overtime ticking away. Yakumo just keeping the Reinhardt in check so they can't contest on the point. There's 2/3, but they need to capitalize and contest and capture now. They have no time to get back. And there's the EMP. There's the clutch EMP. Is it enough? Can Molanren salvage the rest of this fight? But T1W doesn't have the damage output. 2 kills from CJ and Kaio. And it's all Team CC all day here, Kenobi. They're taking away more. Overtime still going down. If they step off of it, it's over. There's just a smidgen of Team B, or point B, that needs to be captured. K-Heart at 62 HP, and there it is. Harden, Yakumo, and the rest finally capturing point B at the last possible second. Team CC is not yet out of this.
Yeah, it's almost like EMP is a very, very good ability. Rapture, it's almost like if you have your own EMP to counter the EMP of the other team, you're going to have a pretty good time. So I really like that they finally, Team CC finally, just said, all right, we're going to run Sombra ourselves. They got the EMP at the end there, was able to get that hack, even though it was a little bit, would have liked to have seen it after the Lucio sound barrier, but they did a good job, managed to get the kills that they needed, and I'm finally liking that I'm going to see K-Heart on this Sombra, match the Sombra coming out from Molanren, because right now, Molanren has been pretty much uncontested on the Sombra so far, and now you have EMP for yourselves, and that scouting. Finally, they're going to start playing the Sombra. As we know, Sombra, in this meta, a very, very good character, so glad I'm going to be seeing that from Team CC.
Yeah, it was better late than never. They realized, okay, we really need our own EMP. And in fact, even if the other team doesn't have a Sombra, it's just great to have that option, especially when all right, we need to confirm on ultimates. We need to make sure that shots are getting hit. What's better than to get an EMP? So there's no matrix, there are no shields, no barriers, nothing like that. And you can see how decisive that ultimate is, especially on this map. And for those of you who've been watching since the Apex days, knowing once Sombra got into the meta, Volskaya was one of the first maps that we saw Sombra being used pretty consistently on. So just, kind of all the way to now, still seeing this character. Of course, with the buff she's gotten over time, no surprise there. Kenobi, Team CC, they barely get that map together. Do you think they'll come out on top against T1W on Volskaya?
It's interesting because it doesn't look like they're going to be running a Sombra of their own. So I talked about how I really like that Sombra, that K-Heart's going to start playing Sombra, but it looks like K-Heart's going to try and match the Sombra with the Brigitte. Is what they might expect here, is that K-Heart's going to, try and be in that backline, trying to get the Brigitte, use the Brigitte stun to get that, Sombra out of the fight. But it looks like T1W sticking to their guns and running this Sombra. And look at all the free scouting they get, Rapture. They just know they're all in there. What are you going to do if you're Team CC? Now you're stuck.
What are you going to do when they come for you? You're going to get pinned right now. now Silver 3 charges right in, but Team CC actually staying alive as Silver 3 gets counterpinned, so now Team CC can break out of the room. Zejan steals the kill, so that's that first blood being drawn by Team CC, and T1W Esports Club realizing the fight's already over before it really got started. They're going to fall back and do it all over again.
Well, what are you going to do if you're in that room alone? You're going to win the fight. Team CC, it looks like they win that fight pretty convincingly at the start. You know, not too much happening there, just that one pick throughout that fight. But it looks like the all charges are also pretty even, so definitely could go either way. Molan ran 50% to that AMP.
Oh, there's another hack from Molan, cracking their knuckles in the back line. Team CC, though, coming out on top for the time being until they get sucked in by this Graviton. But it's still Yakumo with the Zarya staying alive long enough to get the kills. And Kaio with the Coalescence tapping out, but look at that. Yakumo for 3, a triple kill that's clean, and Team CC mopping up T1W.
And that was a huge ult from the Moira there. Kaio saving his team, using that Coalescence to mitigate the damage of anything that was in that grab. Great job from him understanding the positioning of Moira, being able to fade out and then use the Coalescence to keep his team alive. And now Team CC has a pretty good ultimate charge for themselves. They have their rally and they have a grab of their own, but T1W also has that EMP. And if this goes off at the start, it could be dead and rental.
And Monron just hacking down the D.Va first, has the EMP, but yeah, thankfully for them, saving it, realizing that Team CC has already cleaned up their team. They're going to wait till the next fight.
Yeah, Molan ran there, tried to get behind the enemy line to probably just hack or EMP the team before they could use any of the ultimates. Didn't get there quite in time as Yakumo got that EMP off, and they didn't use that much else. You know, GQRN still has that shatter, and they still have the D.Va bomb as well. So a lot of ultimates here, and you know, Molan ran gonna have to be huge with this EMP. We've seen how important it can be so far, and I really like how Team CC is just spread out completely, not gonna putting all their eggs in the basket on the point, and just waiting for that EMP so not all of them get caught in it.
And there it is, the exit to get cracked. Molanron with the EMP, and GQRN is the first victim there. 48 hours, gets put down immediately. Team CC now with a slight advantage.
Huge shatter.
Shatter, Silver 3 cracking the crust of the earth and killing everyone. Yakumo and Century are going to fall victim to that one. And Team CC, when it looked like they might have been able to hold on for even a bit longer here at about the minute 30-second mark, Kenobi, T1W has finally found a mark and little area to break through in the armor, and they get point A.
And no one's sleeping on Silver 3 right now on the desk. He is woke right now. He got that huge 3-man shatter right there. Great job from him getting those supports out of the fight, and now they're going to look to take this point B. Still, it looks like Yakumo's going to be on the Sombra here, so I like that they're bringing out the Sombra, match Molan Ren, and get that health pack control and that EMP for yourselves. Really like this coming out for TCC.
Team CC has some anti-siege ultimates here on defense. They have the Earth Shatter and the Coalescence, so when T1W decides to get aggressive, they can throw them down. But there's the Graviton. There's no D.Va there. Zejan doesn't get there in time to stop that. Kaio gets some free kills. 3. Moira putting a bunch under the belt. Team CC shutting down T1W after that point A capture.
Yeah, great job, and you know, again, KYO with these Coalescence has been absolutely huge. Understanding when the Gravitons are going to be coming out, making sure that it gets the hailing onto his team, and then at the end, you know, play a little bit of DPS more, right? Get those kills for your team. Show up on the kill feed a little bit. We're supports. We deserve to be on the kill feed sometimes and maybe get those plays.
Oh, you're one of those, Kenobi. I knew it.
Sometimes you get, dude. It's hard out here for these supports, man. Sometimes you got to get those kills. Sometimes you just can't rely on your DPS.
But they're going to have to rely on this, and Molanron's like, well, I might prove you wrong. There's another EMP. We've seen it time and time again. How much will Molanron get off this time? T1W, no immediate kills. They're just going to go up and try and force this fight onto the point itself. Remember, Team CC with the closer spawns, that means T1W has to get quicker kills at a faster rate, and so far they're only trading a bit unevenly for them. They have to trade more than positively because Team CC can immediately replenish their reinforcements. Kaio has the Coalescence in the back line, but they've been separated from the rest of the team, so it does pretty much nothing. And T1W now are at least getting through that first third of point B. Now continuing, but here come the reinforcements from Team CC and Kenobi. T1W just has to continue to scramble on the point, swinging and swiping away, and it looks like the kills are coming up.
Yeah, it might just be a matter of formality right now, just the stalls coming out. They're just trying their best. The D.Va Self-Destruct is going to come out with the grab as well. The grab is huge with the shatter on top of it. Rapture, another EMP. That's a pretty huge. It got almost everyone. But and another shatter. But it's not enough. The health bars are way too low. And Silver 3 swinging with that huge Reinhammer, picking up all those kills. And it looks like T1W is going to pick up that second point. Great job from them.
Yeah, the healing just outdoing all the crowd control from Team CC. It just wasn't enough. Team CC did not have the DPS to shut down T1W immediately and follow up. And now it's just been a battle of EMPs, Kenobi. At this point, every electronic in Volskaya has to be fried. Like,
I don't
I'm
know how-
surprised any of the lights are working.
I'm surprised those like the conveyor belts are moving too. Those platforms. I don't know how those are moving.
Like those might run on gas.
Oh, okay. They're
Yeah.
They haven't. Maybe coal energy too. Maybe Russia at this point, like it's like
Still,
50-50 still
better
is
watch
coal.
out. They might hear you.
Yeah.
T1W now, with such a huge time bank going into this, Team CC reduced to nothing. 0
Match
minutes,
point.
0 seconds on the clock. Yep, and 3 minutes and 10 seconds for T1W. They are on match point. So if they outlast Team CC with 3 minutes and 10 seconds, if they get this point or so, that's pretty much it. Team CC, they'll be done. This is a single elimination playoff bracket. This is it. They cannot lose any more maps in this set or they're done in Contenders Season 2 2018. It's up to T1W to win this map and then face off against Flag Gaming in the next part of the bracket in semifinals, which is another best of 5 situation. This is really a test of endurance and a test of skill and stamina for all these teams. Kenobi, this could be our last attempt of this set. Let's see who comes out on top.
And it looks like Team CC gonna be bringing out a Sombra up and putting K-Hart on it. K-Hart played a very good Sombra when they were on it that first time. So Molan here gonna go around the back, get a lot of scouting, and try and get a couple of hacks in to push this point. 3 minutes is a very high mountain to climb for Team CC. As Molan here gonna get the hack onto the Diva right away.
Yep, and because Team CC finished with no time on the clock, all they need is 1/3. T1W just needs 1/3 of point A to win this. And that means they just need one EMP, really, but K-Hart gets on the board first. Silver 3 returning fire with the G-Current, but another kill by K-Hart. K-Hart almost throws himself off the map, but stays alive. Now there's a fray and a little bit of a commotion here towards Mega Health Pack. Silver 3 charges, gets out of dodge, and now you can see Team CC broken up into many different positions here, trying to acquiesce back up onto the point, and T1W Esports kind of realizing that, but they've already lost a bunch of numbers, so they're forced to restart again. Team CC with a fight win.
Yeah, KR's playing a very good Sombra right now. Gets the hack onto the back line and then gets the 2 kills onto the support. And those supports going down pretty much won them that fight there. Silver 3 tried his heart out, has this Earth Shatter. And if this Earth Shatter is huge, it's going to be very detrimental for Team CC to win this point. They might not even have that chance. So Silver 3 here going to have to be huge with this Reinhardt Shatter.
Absolutely. Silver 3 as a means to take out Team CC with just one press of a single key. Let's see how much they get off of it. Maya, meanwhile, building up towards that Coalescence. Unhappy going right in. Again, Silver 3 loves being aggressive in this Mega Health area because he just covers so much with these swings. There's the EMP. Can Team CC outlast the Thunderstorm? Silver 3 gets one, gets the D-Mech. Molinron steals the kill. Yakumo's at 8 HP, barely stays alive though. And Kaio gets a kill as well. And Yakumo staying alive just long enough to get the kills. At this point, I have no idea. This might be an immortal Zarya. So low in health, and yet taking away souls left and right.
Yakumo there, the absolute hero, as well as the supports that kept him alive there, gets that huge grab, gets them off the point, and then is managing to get the kills at the end of it. A very good job from him, but Crystal does have this EMP of their own. They have the rally as well, and EMP coming out for Molan pretty quickly here, so if this grab is huge, this might be the end for Team CC.
And T1W definitely wants that rematch against LFZ. They don't want Team CC stopping them now. Could this be the start of a reverse sweep? There's the Graviton. Crystal's trying to say no, but the kills are not coming out. Now they have to continue to force up onto this D.Va who's been knocked away and forces themselves up into the air to not get hit. And also throws a self-destruct kills Molinron, and Molinron is about to get another EMP. This is Team CC's opportunity to get yet another fight win with KR throwing down their own EMP and still at high HP. Going into the back line, now charging up for some more. And there's the cleanup. T1W shut down with 30 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, this is last fight territory rapture. This is the last chance for T1W. Team CC hanging on by the threadiest of threads right now on this last point. It looks like T1W is just going to wait for that EMP. Molan here, if he can hit this, it'll be huge. But Yakumo very close to that grab. And Molan goes down. He's not going to be in this next fight, Rapture.
The Snipe City from the Barrett 50 cal Ojikura, and that fire strike shuts down Molinron. No EMP for T1W Esports Club, and there's 4 seconds remaining on the clock. Yakumo again, sub 50 HP, but still staying alive. The healing is there, but not enough to keep him alive beyond the Graviton. T1W getting the kills on the feed. They're 2 clumped up together for Team TCC to chew through. And finally, there's the EMP, but he dies immediately. Molinron cannot follow up on their own EMP, but it doesn't matter. T1W picks up the slack, gets the map win, and takes the set 3-0 over Team CC. That's it for Team CC here in Overwatch Contenders Season 2 China. T1W moving on to semifinals to face Flag Gaming.
And T1W, great job from them coming in and getting this convincing win. But in that last fight, unfortunately, it was Unhappy who got charged by that Reinhardt. Silver 3, as we mentioned throughout this whole series, probably the MVP for me, gets that charge onto the Zarya, gets him to 100 health, and he has to force out the grab, and he's not going to be able to live through that. So great job from Silver 3, the absolute star of T1W so far, picking up the slack. No one's sleeping on him anymore, Rapture.
Definitely not. Even at this hour, which some people should possibly would still be sleeping. But
Dude,
no,
it's 9 a.m.
everyone is woken up for Overwatch Contenders China. It was definitely a great set. Team CC showing some more life towards the end of it, but it is T1W coming up out ahead 3-0. A great set from them. They'll be moving on to semifinals. And that's it from me and Kenobi. We'll be moving on to the desk now. KT, Panda, and Vowels. What'd you think of that set?
Woo, man, that last one got a little bit spicy there. Thought they might have been able to pull it out, pull it into a draw. We didn't get to quite see it though, Panda. Let's talk about some bright spots though for Team CC. Let's be optimists this morning. It's Saturday morning. The birds are chirping or something. I don't know, but
Sure.
you know, let's start off the weekend with some optimism here. What are some bright spots you saw from Team CC on that last map?
The word for the weekend, we talked about it, flexibility. And I believe that Team CC was a little late to the party in understanding the phrasing of flexibility. But when we saw the Sombra come out, massive headway was gained. So much footing on to point B and point A in particular. E-hacks coming out from K-Heart. And then Yakumo took it over for the defending team while they were on defense rather, and really made a strong showcasing all the way until the end. It was a good sequence of ultimates coming out from T1W. But that Sombra pick was a key pick for them. They needed to continue to show how strong Sombra is in this current patch of 1.26. A hack, infinite stealth. It's just really good to take. There's not many teams that can turn around and get it done in a matter of seconds. As you saw, it was still on the side for T1W, understanding in full, but Team CC have a lot of bright spots to walk away from. Their tank line still holding together very strong. It's just, they would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for that darn Sombra.
Okay, I see what you did there. Okay, Raggy. So let's go ahead, though, and talk a little bit about MVPs for a second, because, well, I mean, there was a lot of big players on the side of T1W Esports, Vowels.
Absolutely. There's a lot of people you can consider giving the MVP award to. Crystal had an incredible showing on the Zarya, which is not something we've seen too much of him. He's in the conversation for it. Silver 3 had one of the best performances of his life on the main tank role. He's in the conversation for it. I'd ultimately have to give MVP that over to Molan Randa. His Farah was good, as expected. Gator was good when it came out, as expected. But it was the Sombra play from Molan and that really took over this series. Team CC just couldn't find an answer for it. We saw the counter Sombra starting to come out right at the very end of Volskaya, but it was too little too late. Molan Man on the Sombra just had his way with Team CC all through the start of the series, and that set up T1W in a position where they were too far ahead to fail.
Fair enough. What about you, Panda? Who's your MVP here? I know you had, I felt like when we were sitting there watching, every 5 minutes your answer would change. So who'd you end up with here?
I would honestly give it to Silver. Like the caster said, Kenobi had mentioned that for some reason I've never seen Silver more woke. He had literally just came on fire at the beginning of the set. It was by way of Mulron Sombra, really. I mean, once you shut down all the cooldowns, a Reinhardt just dumpstering into the front line of the enemy team of Team CC. It's enough cleave damage to make you feel more than scared, to put yourself into smaller corners and really just take all of the damage that they were willing to dish out. Good Discord orbs coming through from Waya as well, but my MVP would definitely go over to Silver. He didn't have the biggest earth shatters, but he was still able to sit there with the shield up, keeping his team together like the strong foundation that we know Reinhardt can do.
So with this, Team CC, they're out. T1W going to the semifinals, and they're going to be going up against Flag Gaming, who just beat Moss 7 Club. I have to ask you, Panda, is this a team, T1W, that you think we can see end up in the grand finals playing against More than likely. Okay, I shouldn't say it, but I'm going to say it. Probably LFZ, right?
Well, if we ended up getting that reprise of the match of T1W versus LFZ, both as a fan of Chinese Contenders and an analyst as well, I would definitely love to sit there and watch that match as well. It's all going to come down to the somber play, however. Versus Flag Gaming, coming off of that win of and against Moss 7 Club, it's hard to say, and it's hard to put in proper speculation with their new main tank as well. But I believe that T1W, in their full understanding of how Sombra works, and along with their triple-ish tank compositions as well, fantastic Lucio play coming across the board, I would still give it over to T1W to take it from Flag Gaming. I would expect them to make it to the grand finals, and we'll get that reprise, which, yeah, I mean, we probably can't speculate on it too early, but it'll probably be against LFC.
Vowels, do you agree?
Yeah, I would still give a slight edge over to T1W based on what we've seen today. However, both these matchups were defined by one team having a much higher mastery of the new Sombra rework than the other. We saw Flag Gaming running a unorthodox triple DPS setup based around a lot of Sombra play to take the win over Moss 7 Club. We've just seen Molanman have a time of his life, just running free through pastures, doing whatever he wants on the Sombra. If we see two teams that have a much stronger mastery of this new Sombra play going up against each other, I'm really intrigued to see how it's going to work out. I would still give the edge to T1W. I think player by player, they are a stronger team on paper, but it'll definitely be an interesting matchup to watch. I don't want to miss that.
Yeah, you mentioned, especially with that triple DPS, that was Coldus, who's a support, by the way, flexing over to the Tracer, that if you make him feel comfortable, and to your point, Val, is Mullerun having the time of his life, Coldus also having the time of his life as well. If you put two happy spectrum of big flankers and big burst potential on two different DPS, I can only imagine who's going to have the better time in that matchup. It's going to be a banger.
Yeah, that's right. Well, on this first day of Contenders China playoffs, we say goodbye to Moss 7 Club. We say goodbye to Team CC. T1W Esports Club and Flag Gaming do advance into the semifinals. Tomorrow, we're going to be bringing you Lucky Future Zenith versus Hero Taciturn Panther, and then LGD Gaming versus Wingon Esports, starting at 5 a.m. Eastern Time, right here at twitch.tv/Overwatch Contenders. However, this could not have been made possible without the awesome people at Broadcast.gg. So make sure that you hop on over to their Twitch channel right now, because you're going to go somewhere else anyways until we get the next Contenders, which is, I think, EU's coming up next later this afternoon. So until then, hop on over to twitch.tv/broadcast.gg. Drop a follow there if you've got interest in Open Division, Contenders Trials, and Contenders. They're covering it all, bunch of different regions, bringing you the English broadcast for China and South America. Also, follow them on Twitter at broadcast.gg. So that's DOTGG. And then, of course, if you're interested in getting in on some of the action here, being an analyst broadcaster, I know you Twitch chatters are fearless, so I want to see you guys do it. And so if you want to do it, head on over to broadcast.gg. That's right, just the website. You can sign up right there, do some scrim nights, get some casting, analysis, production in, and it will, it's an awesome thing. It's probably the best and most straightforward way to get involved into esports. So thank you so much again to Broadcast.gg for letting us do that. Thank you guys for hanging with us for a lot of games. Contenders Korea was insane. And then you went right into Chinese Contenders. So we're all exhausted. I almost lost my voice. I think we got to get out of here. Thank you guys again. We'll see you tomorrow for some more Contenders China action.